Okay, okay. One of the things that we see in this week's Parsha is that Pharaoh is trying to control the narrative. He's basically, he loses all the time, but he's trying to control how people interpret everything because this is the last stand of a dictator, authoritarian. He's an authoritarian. What he wants, everybody does. It's not a constitutional monarchy, it's an absolute monarchy, and he's losing control. Okay, like we see this. And every step of the way, when Moshe goes for the plague of blood, he goes early in the morning to where Pharaoh is. Why? Because remember, he presents himself as a god. A god does not have bodily functions that we do. So he has to pretend that he doesn't. So early in the morning, he goes to the pool where he will uh, do his business, so to speak. Moshe knows this because remember, Moshe grew up in the house of Pharaoh. Uh, so he knows all these little things. And by doing that, he's attacking the whole concept that Pharaoh is a god. And Pharaoh's trying to maintain this narrative, saying, well, denigrating the Jews, denigrating Moshe, and on and on and on. But this is usually what happens is when you have something built on a lie. And remember, the entire slavery of our slavery in Egypt was built on a lie that Pharaoh did not, quote, remember, unquote, Joseph. That he said, what have these people done for us? Nothing, and blah, blah, blah. So it was all built on a lie. Now he has to maintain that lie, and he has to maintain the narrative. And one of the things that you see going on is that narrative is slowly being stripped away as the truth basically comes out. And all the plagues are basically, on one level, to get the Jews out, but on another level is to show that God is God and Pharaoh is just a man. Rabbi Kamenetsky made a point that, remember, Moshe was the redeemer of Israel. And this is driven home because when we're introduced to Moshe, it says a man and a woman gave birth to him. It doesn't mention their names. It's just a man and a woman, meaning anybody could get to this position. It's up to you to obtain this. That the Torah is pointing out we're all human. God is God, and humans are humans. And that's a very important point that we always have to remember. That because of that, and therefore Pharaoh has to have all this stuff stripped from him so that by the end he realizes that he's not a god, he's just a man. And that perhaps is the most important point, is that we have to remember that we're men or we're people. Uh, doesn't mean that we're low, it means we're not God. Something to think about.